Can put today's date on it as well. I'm just going to put this for myself. Okay. So convert kilometers to miles. This should be a slam dunk, right? Just show me how you set it up. And this gives you 96.32 miles. Some of the, I'll tell you right off the bat, you will see when you write a test or a quiz, you will see this perhaps, that stands for rounding. So every time you see that, that's a half mark deduction. Right? If you see a U like this, that's units. And N is notation, like if you're not writing it properly, you're missing an equal sign, you forget the Y equals, something like that, that's a half mark deduction, right? So R, U, N, run from these mistakes, right? And every once in a while, you will see RE. It's same as rounding, but it's rounding too soon, rounding early, right? So watch out for that. There you go. So if you're missing the miles, put a U next to it. If you didn't round correctly, you put an R next to it, okay? Then later at the end, we'll add it all up. Convert yards to centimeters. Okay, 24 yards. I don't know how. I gave you the yards to centimeters rate, I think. So you could say that 1 yard has 91.44 centimeters. I don't know if I gave you that. If not, that's okay. I have a feeling that I didn't. I did? Okay, well then this is fine. If you went to meters and then to centimeters, it's fine. You're going to get the same answer. Okay, so the yards cancel out and you end up with 2194.56 centimeters. Okay. I don't know. I think it used to be 2 marks because I did not give the intermediate, but whatever, we'll make it worth 2 anyways. That's fine. Which is faster by how much? In kilometers per hour, right? So that means that the 60 meters per second has to be converted. So 60 meters and 1 second, right? So we're gonna go 1 kilometer has 1,000 meters. That cancels out here, okay? And then we know that 1 hour has 3,600 seconds. So that cancels out here. So that's what you're left with. And if you're all said and done, it's 216 kilometers per hour once you get to the unit rate. Okay? And this is if you get it up to here, I would give you 2 marks already. Okay? And then you have to say which one is faster, right? And so you would say 250 kilometers per hour is faster by 34 kilometers an hour. That would be worth another mark. So I go with minuses usually when I mark. If you miss something and it's worth a full mark, I go -1, -half, and then I just add up all the minuses and take it away from the total. Yeah. To miles, because it's meters per second, right? Okay. So that one looks like I would have to look at it myself. So, okay, I think let's say you turned this to meters per second. I think I'd be gracious and still give you the marks because you're not wrong, right? You're still doing it right, but try to just follow the instructions. But if it's miles per second, I would go -1. If everything else jives after that, if you subtracted and figured out the difference, I would honor that. So -1 there. Convert yards per second to kilometers per hour. Let's see how we do this one. Yards in 1 second. What did I do there? Oh yeah, 1 yard has 0.9144 meters. Cancels out the yards. And then I'd say that 1 kilometer has 1,000 meters. That cancels out the meters. And I would want to get rid of the seconds, so I go 1 hour has has 3,600 seconds, cancels out the seconds. You end up with, I will just get to the final right away here. You get 131.67 kilometers per hour. That's worth 2 as well. So if you're not losing anything, you just go check, and that's it. No minuses, right? If you did make a mistake along the way, I would go, depending on how severe it is, right? If you put it in the wrong order, I would go -1, right? If you went 0.9104, like you missed, I can just tell you just got the number wrong by a little bit, that's a -0.5, right? A transcript error is half deduction, but a concept error is a -1. If you're completely like not getting, if you're putting them in the reverse order, that's a concept, right? So keep that in mind. 60 miles per hour, how long would it take you to travel 740 kilometers? Answer in hours and nearest minute. So there would have been something like this in the homework. So how did I do this? I think in my key here, I turned the kilometers to miles. So 1 mile has 1 point. Don't mark anything wrong just yet. If you turn the 60 miles per hour to kilometers per hour and just kept this, you're fine. Okay, you'll be okay. But this gives you 459.83 miles. So this distance is the equivalent of that many miles. So then, if it's 60 miles in 1 hour, then how long will it take me to travel this many miles? Okay, and we go with X number of hours. So I'm going to figure out hours right now. You cross multiply and divide that. So it's 459.83 times 1 divided by 60, and that gives you 7.6638 ... hours. So I would say this: if you converted if you did some sort of conversion, that to me is worth 1 mark. So whether you converted the 60 miles per hour to kilometers per hour, or if you turn this to miles, I don't care, that would be a 1 mark for me. So if it's missing, obviously you have to do some converting for this to work. If you set up a proportion and got some kind of answer, that's also worth a mark in this case. And now I'm going to turn that to hours and minutes. So this tells me that 7 full hours passed by, and I need to figure out how many minutes are left, right? So let me just show you how I do it. And divide by 60. If you get that, for example, right, take away the 7 from it. Take away 7 from that answer. So 7 hours, you put that down, and then the rest, you just multiply the 0.66 and so on hours, and you just go 1 hour has 60 minutes. So you essentially multiply what's remaining by 60 in this case, which is 39.83 minutes. So you would just round that to the nearest minute, which would be 40 minutes, right? So that would be another mark if you get that right. So 7 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah. Well, that would be if it asked you to round it to the nearest hour, like just the whole time to nearest hour, that would be correct. So so did you do any kind of conversions for minutes? Oh, so you went at 8 hours and 40 minutes? I would take half off today. Yeah. We're good? Okay, so let's go to the back side here. And why did I have to do that, right? Why did I have to add questions? Because I think of things last minute, okay? So this miles per gallon to liters per 100 kilometers. So up to you, but I went 21 miles in 1 gallon. I need liters and kilometers, right? So I'm going to go 1 mile has 1.6093 kilometers. Cancel, cancel. And I also want the gallons gone, right? So 1 gallon has 3.79 liters. Cancel, cancel. When you multiply the top, if you multiply that out, you get 33.7953 kilometers. That's all that's left in the numerator. And the denominator is 1 times 1 times 3.79, which is 3.79 liters. And I want you to, in math, see the connections. I want you to see that because technically at this point you could use my fuel economy formula. You remember that one? Fuel economy? Fuel economy formula states this: liters over kilometers times 100. That's how that technically gives you liters per 100 kilometers. So if you notice that, you could have used this, right? You're like, okay, this is the liters that I've used. This is the distance that I've traveled. Plug it in there times 100. Boom, you're there. If you missed it, no big deal. You're going to say 33.7953 kilometers is 3.79 liters. Therefore, to travel 100 kilometers, how many liters would I need? And you're like, hold it, Mr. Erickson. I went a step further here and I went kilometers per liter. No big deal. You should get the same answer. It's the same, right? So here you cross multiply and divide like that. 100 times 3.79 divided by 33.79 and continues, right? That is 11.21 liters that you've used to travel 100 kilometers. You just figured it out this way. So if you have this, you're good to go. 11.21 liters is what is needed to travel 100 kilometers. You know that in the States they use miles per gallon for fuel economy, and we use liters per 100 kilometers. If you go to the mall and you see a brand new car in the mall, right? You look at the window and it will say liters per 100 kilometers, but it also will say miles per gallon next, side by side. So this is how you convert it, right? So if you want to look smart in front of your friends, like, hey, watch, I'm going to convert that to liters per 100 kilometers for you just now. Anyways, so that would be 2 marks here. Next, yards, feet, and inches into inches. So this is how I will show it. 4 yards, I know that 1 yard has 36 inches. Cancel, cancel, right? Plus the 3 feet, I know that 1 foot has 12 inches. Cancel, cancel. Plus the 5 inches do not need to be converted because that's already in inches. So if you add up all these components, right, you'll get your total in inches. So that's 144 inches plus 36 inches plus 5 inches, which gives you 185 inches. That's a bonus of 2, courtesy of Mr. Dirksen today for you. So what are we at here total? Let's see, 2, right? 2 and 3 is 5, and 2 is 7, and 3 is 10, and 2 is 12, and 1 is 13. So this is out of 10, right? We gotta fix that. It's out of 13 here, right there. So put a mark out of 13. Put a mark down. If that mark remains unchanged when I give it back to you, that means that I agreed with you. If it's changed, you will see it, right? And you'll see why. And don't feel bad if you're off by a bit. That happens. If you're off by half a mark or a full mark even, we're not going to sweat it, right? So put down what you think you got. You're the teacher today. You're the teacher today. What would you get? What would you get? So put that on the front, okay? because I'm going to ask you to flip it upside down so that your name and the mark is facing downward. And then everybody's going to pass it forward so I can collect it from the front row. And that's it for the EC today. Grab your notes.